The door slammed shut with a thunderclap that rattled the cheap china in the kitchen cabinets, but it was her words that hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. "I listed your car on Facebook Marketplace for $5,000. Sarah announced, her voice bright and triumphant, as if she'd just solved world hunger instead of stabbing me in the back. She tossed her keys onto the counter, her engagement ring, my grandmother's antique diamond, catching the dim evening light like a mocking wink. I froze in the living room, the TV remote slipping from my hand, the laugh track from some sitcom mocking the sudden void in my gut. My '67 Mustang, the one I'd poured every spare dime and weekend into restoring, gleaming cherry red paint, rebuilt engine purring like a contented beast, leather seats I'd stitched myself, that car was my soul on wheels. And she'd hawked it like some garage sale junk for half its worth. Rage boiled up from my stomach, hot and acidic, choking me before I could even form words. "What the hell, Sarah?" I finally spat, my voice cracking like brittle glass. My fists clenched at my sides, nails digging into palms until I felt the warm sting of blood. Humiliation washed over me in waves. How could she do this without asking? We'd been engaged for 2 years, shared a bed, a life, dreams of a house with a white picket fence. But there she stood, scrolling through her phone with a casual shrug, as if listing my prized possession was no different than ordering takeout. She looked up, her blue eyes wide with feigned innocence. "Babe, we need the money. The wedding's coming up, and your freelance gigs aren't cutting it anymore." I figured it'd sell quick. It's already got 3 inquiries. Her tone was light, almost playful, but I caught the undercurrent, the subtle dig at my unstable income as a graphic designer. She'd always resented that, the way my passion projects ate into our savings while she climbed the corporate ladder at her marketing firm. But this was theft wrapped in concern. I paced the cramped apartment, the worn carpet muffling my steps but not the thunder in my head. Heartbreak twisted like a knife. Had our love been this fragile all along? Resentment festered, old wounds reopening. The time she dismissed my car as a money pit, the passive-aggressive comments about my hobbies versus her career. Denial flickered briefly. Maybe she meant well, maybe it was a joke. But no, the Facebook notification on my phone confirmed it. Photos of my Mustang from every angle, her caption gushing about a vintage gem ready for a new home. For $5,000. It was worth at least 10 grand easy. Obsession ignited. I imagined confronting her, screaming until my throat rawed, but instead I muttered, "Take it down. Now." She laughed, a sharp, dismissive bark that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. "Too late, hon. First buyer messaged they're coming tomorrow morning. Cash in hand." She sauntered to the fridge, pulling out a bottle of white wine, pouring herself a glass without offering me one. The glug of liquid filled the silence, each drop amplifying my fury. I watched her sip, her lips curving in satisfaction, and something cold slithered into my veins alongside the heat. Guilt nipped at the edges. Maybe I was overreacting. We'd argued about money before. But no, this was betrayal, pure and simple. She hadn't just listed the car. She'd erased a piece of me, commodified my dreams without a second thought. That night, sleep evaded me like a thief in the shadows. Sarah snored softly beside me, her arm draped possessively over my chest, but I lay rigid, staring at the ceiling cracks that spiderwebbed like my fracturing trust. Inner thoughts swirled in a tempest. How long has she been resenting me? Is this the start of something worse? Fantasies of justice bloomed, yanking the listing down myself, confronting the buyer with a baseball bat. But doubt crept in. Was I the villain here, clinging to a relic while our future crumbled? No, the car wasn't just metal. It was my father's legacy, the one thing he'd left me before cancer claimed him. Restoring it had been my therapy, my anchor. Selling it cheap was like pawning his memory for pocket change. By dawn, the apartment smelled of stale coffee and regret. I slipped out before Sarah woke, the engine of my Mustang roaring to life with a familiar growl that now sounded like a warning. I drove aimlessly through the waking city, tires humming on rain-slicked streets, the wipers swishing like accusatory fingers. Sensory details assaulted me. The leather steering wheel cool under my grip, the faint scent of oil and polish I'd applied just last week, the dashboard lights flickering like dying stars. Humiliation burned deeper. Friends would hear, family would pity me. Poor Alex can't even control his own fiancée. Obsession took root. I parked in a deserted lot, scrolling through her Facebook history. Subtle hints emerged. Posts about decluttering for a fresh start, likes on articles about financial independence in relationships. Had she been planning this? Back home, tension hung thick as fog. Sarah was in the kitchen, humming as she scrambled eggs, the sizzle popping like gunfire in my ears. "Morning, sleepyhead," she chirped, plating food as if nothing had shattered. I sat across from her, fork scraping porcelain, forcing a bite past the lump in my throat. Dialogue tiptoed on eggshells. "We need to talk about the car," I said, voice steady but laced with suppressed rage. She sighed, rolling her eyes. "Alex, it's just a car. We'll get the money, pay off some debt, maybe even splurge on the honeymoon." "You're being dramatic." Her words dripped manipulation, gaslighting me into questioning my own anger. But I saw the flicker in her eyes. Calculation, not remorse. That afternoon the buyer arrived. A burly guy in a flannel shirt, eyes lighting up at the Mustang's shine. Sarah handled the transaction with glee, counting crisp bills while I stood in the doorway, arms crossed, resentment coiling like a spring. He drove off in my car, exhaust fumes lingering like a ghost, and she pocketed the cash with a satisfied grin. See. Easy peasy. Heartbreak morphed into cold resolve. Alone in the garage, now empty, echoing with absence, I plotted. Subtle at first. Checking our joint accounts, noticing unexplained withdrawals. Hints of deeper betrayal surfaced. Late nights at work, secretive texts. Doubt warred with certainty. Was she cheating? Stealing? Moral conflict gnawed. Revenge felt justified, but what form? Not violence, that was too crude. No, something poetic, stripping her of what she valued most. Control, status, her perfect facade. Days blurred into a slow-burn haze. I feigned normalcy, kissing her goodbye each morning, but inside, obsession festered. I tailed her once, heart pounding as I ducked behind parked cars, watching her meet a colleague at a cafe. Innocent laughter, but her hand on his arm lingered too long. Paranoia. Or intuition. Guilt surfaced in quiet moments. Am I destroying us over a car? But no, it was the principle, the unilateral decision, the dismissal of my worth. Planning began in earnest. Late nights on my laptop, researching her firm's vulnerabilities, her social media footprints. Fear whispered warnings, what if I got caught? But resolve hardened like steel. One evening, as rain pattered against the windows, casting watery shadows on the walls, she confessed partially. "I did it for us, Alex. You know that, right?" Her voice softened, eyes misty, but I detected the performance, the way she twisted vulnerability into a shield. Tension built. I nodded, swallowing bile, but inside, fantasies sharpened, exposing her secrets, turning her world upside down. The apartment felt smaller, walls closing in with the scent of her perfume. Cloying, suffocating. Every creak of the floorboards amplified my pulse, a countdown to retaliation. Subtle hints of vengeance emerged. I accidentally left browser tabs open on divorce lawyers, watched her reaction, nervous glances, forced smiles. She ramped up affection, cooking my favorite meals, the steam from pasta rising like deceitful veils. But I saw through it, resentment deepening. Inner conflict peaked. Is revenge worth the soul stain? Yet, as I lay awake, the empty garage a void in my heart, I knew it was. The pursuit began quietly, strategically, gathering evidence, biding time. The spark had ignited. Now the fire smoldered, waiting to consume. Weeks passed in a veneer of domesticity, but beneath, my plan coalesced like storm clouds gathering force. The apartment, once a haven, now pulsed with unspoken accusations, the fridge humming ominously, the clock ticking like a bomb. Sarah's betrayal had unearthed layers I hadn't known existed. Not just the car, but a pattern of control. Bank statements revealed she'd siphoned funds into a secret account, whispers of an affair confirmed by overheard calls, breathy laughs. "Can't wait to see you." Heartbreak evolved into obsession. I hacked her email, guilt stabbing as I did, finding messages to a coworker named Mark. "Alex is clueless. Soon it'll just be us." Humiliation surged anew. Clueless. I'd been blind but no more. Cold resolve armored me. I mirrored her manipulation, playing the doting fiancé while plotting. Sensory immersion deepened the suspense. The metallic tang of keys in my pocket as I duplicated hers, the soft click of her laptop lid at night while she slept. Dialogue sharpened tension. "You seem distant," she said one dinner, fork hovering mid-air, sauce dripping like blood. "Everything okay?" I forced a smile, teeth grinding. "Just work stress. Love you." The lie tasted bitter, but it bought time. Inner thoughts raged. She thinks she's won, but justice is coming. Doubt lingered. Moral grayness haunted me. Was I becoming the monster? But resentment overpowered. Fantasies crystallized. Not physical harm, but dismantling her empire. Her job, her reputation, her freedom. The turning point came on a foggy Friday. I followed her to a hotel downtown, the city's neon lights blurring through rain-streaked windshield. Parked across the street, heart hammering against ribs, I watched her enter arm in arm with Mark, their laughter slicing through the downpour. Fury blinded me momentarily, fists white-knuckled on the wheel. But I waited, photographing timestamps, building my dossier. Back home, the apartment reeked of her absence. Perfume fading, silence oppressive. Planning intensified. Anonymous tips to her boss about embezzlement, I'd traced the funds. Doctored emails exposing the affair. Fear clawed. Consequences could backfire, but obsession drove me. Suspense built in quiet calculations. Nights poring over documents, the glow of my screen casting ghostly shadows on walls textured like regret. She noticed the shift, her questions probing. "Why are you up so late?" I'd murmur excuses, but her eyes narrowed, suspicion brewing. Layered motivations emerged, hers. Ambition masking insecurity, a childhood of poverty fueling her greed. Mine. Justice twisted by pain, moral conflict evident in hesitant keystrokes. Was this revenge or self-destruction? The retaliation unfolded gradually, a slow poison. First, the email leak. I used a burner account to send evidence to her firm's HR, screenshots of transfers, affair chats. She came home frantic that night, hair disheveled, voice trembling. "Something's wrong at work." They called me in for a meeting. I feigned concern, hugging her while suppressing a grim satisfaction. Tension ratcheted. She paced, nails bitten to nubs, the floor creaking under her weight. Dialogue revealed cracks. "Do you think someone's out to get me?" she whispered, eyes searching mine. Guilt flickered, her vulnerability humanized her, but resentment quashed it. "Who would do that?" I replied, voice neutral, inner turmoil churning. As days dragged, the fallout mounted. Suspension pending investigation, Mark ghosting her. She unraveled, sobs echoing in the bathroom, water running to mask them. Obsession consumed me. I watched from afar, cold resolve fracturing into doubt. Is this enough? Or too much? The climax brewed on a stormy evening, thunder rumbling like judgment. She confronted me in the living room, lightning flashing across her tear-streaked face. "It was you, wasn't it? The car was payback." Her voice broke, raw with accusation. I stood silent, rain lashing windows like accusations. Believable rage erupted. "You stole from me." "From us," she screamed, hurling a vase that shattered against the wall, shards glittering like broken promises. Adrenaline surged. I confessed partially, voice steady. "You listed my car without asking. Betrayed me." But hidden motives surfaced, her affair, the theft. Shock widened her eyes. Denial crumbled. "It was a mistake," she pleaded, collapsing onto the couch, fabric whispering under her. Moral complexity peaked. Her betrayal stemmed from fear of stagnation, mine from wounded pride. But the twist loomed. In a desperate bid, she revealed her own revenge. I kept half the car money in a safe deposit box. For us. But checking it was empty, she'd gambled it away, another layer of deceit. Fury reignited. I exposed everything to her family, emails flying like daggers. The payoff struck. Police at our door days later, embezzlement charges sticking. As handcuffs clicked, her eyes met mine. Heartbreak mirroring my own. "Why?" she whispered. Poetic justice twisted unexpectedly. In the chaos, I discovered her pregnancy test. Positive, hidden in a drawer. Guilt crashed like waves. Was the child mine? Or Mark's? The revenge, once sweet, soured into regret. I walked away from the empty apartment, thunder fading, left with obsession's ashes. Betrayal begot betrayal. In pursuing vengeance, I'd lost myself. The city lights blurred through tears, a cinematic fade to black, unresolved and haunting.